Hello, everyone, and all right, hold on. Let's get the hello, everyone. Welcome to Only Football's first YouTube episode, inaugural episode. Max Baumler, joined by Michael, the old lady Holder, or the Colonel. What do you want to go by?
Let's
get the Colonel.
The old lady.
Nah,
fine. The Colonel.
he has no choice. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we've been doing the podcast, Mike, for the guy and I did it for like a good year, and then you came on. We had the three of us for a while, and we've been talking about doing a YouTube channel for a bit now. And now that things have kind of loosened up a little bit, we're just gonna hop in and start.
Perfect time for Euros.
Yeah. I was not recording for the podcast, which is going to be the exact same thing. So everyone, welcome to the podcast. We are doing our YouTube live right now at the moment, our first one. So you can also go on YouTube for that. And yeah, so we're going to open it up with a Euro preview, groups A, B, and C.
Yep. We'll break down the Champions League final. Mm-hmm. This first time we're going live since that game. And in the middle, we're going to do some transfer talks, right?
Yeah, 'tis the season.
It's always the season. But
it is.
There's always rumors going around. But yes, now the season's officially open. Disgruntled players can leave. Disgruntled managers can leave, and even owners.
It's a lot of managerial talk today.
It's a managerial. That's
a merry-go-round right now.
It's more talk about the managers than the players, which is quite rare, but it makes for good talk, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, let's, as you said, kick it off with the Champions League final. Chelsea City, Chelsea taking it 1-0. We went live for the first time for
Before
us
the match.
At all, which was on Instagram, and we were quite taken aback by the fact that Pep kind of got into his head again, and this time he didn't start a CDM. We're fine with the false nine. It was working for them, but he had to do something.
Yeah, we were talking about it. Just like this time, I don't think he'll pull a fast one on us because he's played the same 11 since like the round of 16, and only played that 11 for the Champions League. And yet again, he surprised the world because he just has to. He has to. Like, I think it's obsession for him to like have one team prepare one way and then surprise them an hour before. But they can still adjust within the hour that the lineups are made. Right?
And that seems to both of us at the time, and many other people. Like, it's not like we were finger on the pulse, like, oh, what the fuck, what's he doing? And so many people were taken back by this, and then especially when it didn't pan out. This was obviously the focus. Now, is it also Pep trying to make his own stamp on the match, like take more credit for the win than the players?
I don't think so, because even if they wanted to be the players,
it'd be the team. Yeah,
it would be. Yeah,
Pep would have had his lion's share of the spoils.
I've heard rumors that like he does this so that if they lose, all the blame's on him and never on the players.
That's ridiculous.
And I'm just like, come on.
That's so bad.
They had they played. That was their 61st or 62nd game, and only one other time this season they didn't start a CDM and they lost.
I couldn't think of one where they didn't start a CDM.
They one of their losses they didn't start
early season.
Yeah,
so that'd be like early, like which is when they got smashed against Leicester.
But I would have thought but I saw the statistics and like only one other time he didn't and they lost. Mm-hmm. Make that 2 for 2.
Yeah. Very foolish. And the first half actually was quite enjoyable. Especially we felt a cagey game was coming, but the first half was decent.
Better chances than we thought.
For sure, absolutely. And I think from a neutral perspective, obviously myself slightly cheering for Chelsea, and I am glad that Chelsea won over City, being a United fan. But from a neutral perspective, especially with just how organized Tuchel's been with that Chelsea squad since he got there, the team to score first was the wrong team from a neutral perspective.
If he wanted a match more of a match in the second half, I think it was the right team that scored first.
Man, the thing is, like, I think had Pep actually walked at the team with the CDM, it would have been still quite evenly balanced. Chelsea coming off 2 back-to-back wins against them within like the last month, essentially, and Tuchel being no slouch tactically to deal with some kind of little scientist in Pep Guardiola. So I do think had Chelsea gone down, I think I said it pre-games, like if Chelsea goes down, it still feels like they can force extra time. And then we saw in the second half, Chelsea with the lead, sound as ever defensively, and the physicality just wasn't there in the midfield, obviously dropping the CDM, and they were able to do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, because they took what Gundogan, is their highest scoring midfielder this year, and they put him into a role that he hasn't played all year, which is the CDM. So you're taking away his strength and making it not making a weakness. He is good defensively, but
it's our producer Dan Moore.
Producer Dan, making sure the sound's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and thanks for the beats in the background too. Class.
But still, what was I saying? Yeah, taking away his strength, because he made all his assists and goals, and he scored I think like 7 games in a row or close to that. And by making a deep lying, like delayed runs that catch midfielders and defenders off guard, he can no longer make those runs. And now you have did they have KDB or Foden up top? I think it was because
it's more Foden.
It was Foden, right? And KDB beside.
Yeah, it's basically 2 wrongs don't make a right. You take away Gundogan's strengths, and then you take away actual physical strength in the midfield to actually just regain the ball and show a little toughness there in the most key aspect of the whole game, which is the midfield. That's obviously the focus of the match.
Yeah. Well, and that and the goal. It was a good goal by Chelsea. Great goal. Does that composed finish, but a gaping hole in the middle for City defense.
Does that also get broken up with the CDM? Was that also potentially not a perfect example of having a CDM? One shield. It's not like you're playing a pivot.
It was a switch ball, a layoff to Mount, and Mount won through ball through to Havertz, who had a gaping hole between Diaz and Zinchenko, I believe. Good finish around Ederson. Ederson always, he's quick to come out of his line. He's already off his line, and outside the box, you had to go feet first. Sorry, but he did get a touch. It would have been a handball. It was a hand. Yeah. I don't know if VAR would have come back. Finals, you never know with VAR. But great finish by Havertz, and they didn't really. After that, Chelsea just stuck to on what they've done all year: defense first, clean sheet. Tuchel came in, shored up the defense, and said, "You know what? Attacking-wise, individually, we'll create enough chances to score, which they have, and they held on."
They probably had the
I think the better team won.
Absolutely,
better team won.
Absolutely.
They should have scored. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I don't want to say Pulisic necessarily should have scored there, because I think Ederson did a great job of cutting down the angle. Because either Pulisic had to go over Ederson, and there's just enough space really to get that height, and then otherwise he had to go around, and it was going away. So we're actually really well played by Ederson on that play. But again, Chelsea willing to hit on the break with the lead, sit back, and you just kind of felt like even with De Bruyne, before De Bruyne gets injured, there wasn't much coming. It didn't feel like when De Bruyne got hurt.
It wasn't a City I was like watching. It's just like they just don't have it today.
No,
I think that's what it was.
But again, it's like you take out the CDM and you bring in Sterling as well, who he's basically been benching in key matches for 2 or 3 months now.
All that matters is, I don't have to admit, Pep is better than Mourinho. Honestly, because Mourinho would not have lost that game with that team. I will guarantee if Mourinho had City, they win that game 100%.
Not to say that they would get there with him, but I can see where you're coming from, and I really do flip-flop in between. I think Guardiola plays much more attractive football.
Yes.
And he has been very successful, but he's always had the backing, and I do flip-flop between who's better, who's not, and the fact that Pep does this to himself consistently, it does, now I'm kind of like reeling back towards Mourinho just overall, despite how ineffective he's been for the last 5 or 6 years. What Mourinho's done over the span of a career with limited funds in a lot of cases.
It's just a personal preference for me. If 10 out of 10 people would probably say Pep, but for me, it's just he's always had good teams. His best first team was the golden era Barcelona. Then he goes to Bayern, gets backing there, comes to City, gets even more backing than he can even imagine. Still can't get it done. Still hasn't won the biggest trophy without Messi, and that's important to me. Just to me only, not in general, but to me only. But otherwise, you know what? For a 1-0 game, I thought it was exciting. I guess second half was less exciting because you knew Chelsea was just going to hold on, but they did have majority of the chances, which I do believe should get some credit. So well done to Chelsea, champions of Europe. Who would have thought this in January?
Shocking. But you know what? That comes from the board as well, and just being ruthless. And it has kind of twice. The 2 times they won Champions League has been on an interim manager.
Yes.
No one's been able to say that. I don't think ever. Joey Shero, welcome to the chat. Sorry, you say you agree with me. we're just getting kind of used to this, so I guess he just didn't really see that. So I'm not sure what you agreed with me about. But thank you. Yeah. You're wise for it. Okay, so let's get on to some transfer talk and managerial talk before we get into our Europa League preview. And we're going to start with Inter. Focus on Inter and Antonio Conte to start. He's walking away from Inter Milan after breaking Juve's 9-year run of the Scudetto. And it's basically because, much like Chelsea, he's just not going to get the funding there. He did such a great job with them over the last couple of years. And it turns out that, Inter especially is in the shit when it comes to finances based on COVID. They're looking to potentially sell 100 million euros or pounds, I can't remember which, of players and
20%, 20% of wages, right?
Cutting player wages by 20%. So Conte said, you know what, I'm just going to leave that on top, and we're not going to make this like really ugly, like it kind of did at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And good on him. And it was amicable enough, I would say. Inzaghi coming in from Lazio. And I don't mind the hiring, and I don't mind the jump for him either. So, Mike, we were talking earlier, and you're like, why is he going to make this move if Inter
doesn't have any backing?
But you know what?
Lou has to take a team that's won, and just say, I have to get rid of players, and I can't buy anyone. And I think it'll be enough to get the job. Because I realistically, I don't think he would take that job if he doesn't envision him having a chance to win the league. And can he win the league without any signings and only cutting? I don't think
it's a bit of a Wild West, I think, Serie next season. I think Atalanta might have a decent shot next year if they can keep
probably the best chance.
I don't mind them as a slight dark horse bet, but
I don't think that's a dark. I don't think they're a dark horse anymore.
Fair enough. I think you get decent odds though. I bet you would. You'd probably give me like 5-1.
I would say Napoli's a dark horse. Not Atalanta.
Fair enough. But back to Inzaghi taking this job, Mike. I don't mind it from him. He's done a very good job at Lazio in the last couple of seasons. And when we're talking about backing, there's only so much he can do with Lazio. Even though he probably recognizes that Inter's a little stunted, at least for another year or two in terms of what they can bring in. There is a team there. There is a core there, and he's like, let me see what I can do.
Yeah.
So I don't hate it. Lukaku's even said that he's going to be hanging around, so that's a huge boost. That's someone, if they do have to get rid of 100 million worth of assets, that's not leaving.
You could probably
that could be one shot though. It could have been one play with Lukaku. That's the thing.
Important though. He was the MVP this year, wasn't he?
Yes, and deservedly so.
Yes, and because the rumored was he was going to go back to Chelsea.
Mm-hmm. I didn't want to see that actually. Lukaku has done a phenomenal job. I was happy to see him leave United. I just don't really think he necessarily suited what we were doing, but he's done a great job there. He's been excellent for Belgium, and I would hate for him to come back to the Prem and actually start getting it done in big matches, which was always
his fault.
His problem.
Yeah.
No,
it's not his fault.
Partially, but yeah.
His undoing of how he got sold and why he got sold.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, the Serie A to me next season is going to be very. It was interesting this year going in, but I think next season even more so. I think you're even mentioning Napoli. Who's coming in for them?
Spalletti.
See, I don't like it. Yeah. That's where I think the mistake is. I think there's talent on that team, and I think Spalletti was a terrible hire.
Yeah, they honestly they said they're going to really so.
They should have kept Gattuso.
March. I think if he made Champions League, they would have recanted that and said if you want to stay, stay.
Mm.
But definitely that last game when they blew it. He signed for Fiorentina like a day later.
Yeah.
So it was probably already set in stone until they waited till the maybe one last FU. I'll tie the game.
I'm pulling for him. I have to say, Gattuso, that is. Spalletti, I think is a mistake, and
I think they're going backwards with that signing.
I do.
Good for a Juve fan, I don't care.
Yeah, no, kudos, man. If we're right. Okay, now sticking more with more managers yet again. We've got Carlo Ancelotti.
Second stint.
Most likely, it's not confirmed yet, but it looks.
Oh, I thought it was confirmed.
I don't think it's exactly confirmed. Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. Cheers.
Wow. Thank you. It sounds great, man. I love it.
Best producer ever. Okay. Right on. Did Daniel Mower. Mine's a little warm.
Ancelotti, though. There could be rumors. I did see on Instagram Ronaldo came on and congratulated him.
Oh, okay.
So the rumor mill will always grab that because they're one of the three clubs that can afford him, probably. Just Real, Man U, and PSG that are interested. But Do you think James comes back to Real?
No, it's already no, I think Ancelotti's fit. So it is pretty much done.
He's followed Ancelotti everywhere.
I think Ancelotti says he has no. He doesn't plan on bringing him back, and also James has also got cut from the.
No, he's injured, unfit to play.
Squad.
They cut him because he was unfit to play.
Because he said he was shocked. So
he said he wasn't fit enough because he hasn't played enough recently, right? He's been out with the ankle.
Some wild rumors about James that we're not going to get into.
No,
we're not going to get into.
Max,
but if you know, you know. That's all. I'm just leaving it at that. I'm just leaving it at that. Okay. I don't mind it. For Ancelotti, I think it's actually Real needs to do a little restructuring right now, and I think
it's a rebuilding year.
Yes, and I think this could be very temporary. This could be a 2-year thing tops with Ancelotti.
Do you think Ramos? That's the main question.
I don't think it's. I think Ramos is done, man. I think he's already walking away.
Really?
Ancelotti
said he's going to sit down and talk to Ramos. When you hear that, you think you would assume he wants to keep him.
I would like Ramos to stay.
Maybe how that discussion goes depends the fate on Ramos. But it's a tricky situation. Is Ancelotti a coach that will make him stay?
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure they enjoyed their time together before. I'd like Ramos to finish his career there. I would, but. He's made some valid points and really ruffled feathers, Ramos, that is, recently about how it's like everyone on the team was asked to take a pay cut, but Ramos was the one person who refused and tried to get players to rally with him to not do so, basically saying that it's just a move to fund Kylian Mbappe, which, take it for the team. I think, you take that for the team, really, if you want to. But then at the same time, they just put David Alaba on $400,000 a week.
$400,000 a week?
Yes. So where are they getting off? They're making a big name signing, but under the guise of everyone else taking a pay cut for the team. And yes, bringing David Alaba in is for the team, but
what is that, like $15 million a year? No, more.
More, I think. It's probably close to like 18 or something like that.
Oh my God, that's what he signed.
And I'm talking about I was free.
I did not know that.
I was forgetting it's euros or pounds, but yeah. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I don't blame
definitely euros.
I don't blame. Yeah, that's what I think so too. But I don't blame Ramos for being upset about that. That said, he is getting on, and maybe you just take it year by year, 1-year contract. Ryan Giggs was doing that for like 3 or 4 years in the end of his career, and he was great up until he actually retired. So.
I would like for him to stay.
Me too.
Good. I don't know. I really don't know about the signing about Ancelotti. I still don't know if it's a good signing, bad signing. He doesn't seem like a manager that is willing to go through a rebuild. Even though I know he just went through like a stint with Everton. I think he's done. I think he leaves Everton not to have to do that again. So it didn't make sense for me.
Yeah. No,
I guess it's a bigger club. He wants to a big club, but like
I thought it's kind of like a twilight year kind of project for him. You know what I mean? Like, let's see what I can do with Everton. They did end up botching it like Everton do, basically year in year out, even with Ancelotti this season. But it's like stick around for like 1 more year, see if you can get them into Europe. Which they probably really should have.
Yeah, they should have.
They did botch it
the way they started. And
yeah, too bad. Ronald Koeman. Sticking around at there goes our producer for they're playing Rocket League. I knew that was going to happen. So there's going to be a lot of grunting going on in the background. Okay, so just try to tune that out. Now, yeah, so Ronald Koeman staying. I think it's deserved.
Laporta confirmed. Well, said he will be coaching, so it most likely will happen. If the president saying he's staying.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a up and down year. It started off down, went up, and then ended down again. Roller coaster for Barca after winning 14 of 15.
Yes,
in the middle of the season.
It's like the drop zone, like the ride the drop zone. So you're going up like very slowly. I don't even want to say that because it starts off so poorly.
It's so horrible.
And they're rising, and then they just plummeted very quickly at the end. I think it would have been very harsh to fire Koeman, especially him giving up what he had with the Dutch international team, which we'll get into shortly. Last season, going into these Euros, coming into a Barca squad that was in a lot of turmoil last summer and still continued to be. But it turned out to be a somewhat respectable season. It fell apart at the end, and it did start off horribly. I still think it deserves a year to get some signings in.
I think they only made the announcements because they couldn't find a suitable replacement.
So I think he deserves. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I do think he deserves one more year, and I think Barca can make a solid push next year. So one signing that we haven't mentioned it is that they have brought in Aguero.
Has he picked a number yet or no?
I don't know about that.
Because Braithwaite is number 9.
So, yeah. Well, Braithwaite might have to go back to Middlesbrough. Okay, I don't know. I'm not sure. Unless he lights it up at the Euros this year.
Interesting sign. That was a signing just to hopefully keep Messi. I think Messi was staying regardless, but because isn't Aguero the godfather of Messi's child, or Messi is the godfather of Aguero? So they have some sort of connection like that.
Wijnaldum most likely coming in. Depay most likely coming in.
That's Coleman. That's all Coleman. That's all Coleman.
All three on the free. You know, if you're struggling like Barcelona financially, this isn't a bad summer so far at all.
So, are those 2 signings confirmed or just most likely?
No, most likely.
Most likely. So, we'll see how that goes. But definitely, I think Coleman was just there's no one else better right now. Plus, we don't want to have to end your contract and find someone else, save money that way because they just went through a presidential election last year, too. So, any way to recoup funds. Messi was most likely going to stay. I think if there was a time for him to leave, it would be last because he resigned. Didn't he resign during the year? So it didn't really matter unless if he demanded a trade again. So this was just to keep Messi happy, but it's kind of going backward because you got rid of Suarez because you said he was too old, and now you're getting Aguero.
Yeah,
I know he's younger than Suarez, but and Suarez still just showed it to you that. So it's like it's kind of like it's a sign of the.
That was a bit of a Coleman thing too, right? That was Coleman. I'm sure
it doesn't make sense if you think
not particularly. Not particularly. Let's just wrap up quickly, just so our fingers are on the pulse, but just lightly. We'll get into it next week. But Trent Alexander-Arnold out for the Euros because we're going to preview A, B, and C groups A, B, and C this week, and then next Thursday we'll be doing D, E, and F. But I think that's kind of it's probably the perfect scenario for Southgate. Briefly,
But he named them to the squad.
He did name them to the squad. But
did they replace? Have they replaced them with?
I don't think anyone's been named yet.
It better be Lingard, my boy.
It should. It should be someone in the mid, or even like a James Ward-Prowse said, a little more creativity, a little deeper in the midfield.
They're Rice and Henderson. And they play. James Ward-Prowse plays a similar role to those.
But a little box, but not holding. See, Declan. Well, you know what? Let's wait till next week.
Okay.
Before we carry away, we'll get into them next week. Now, let's start it off with our Euro preview. Group A. Mike, let's start from what we would probably imagine is going to be
bottom.
Top to bottom. I was going to say the opposite.
Oh, bottom to top. Okay, let's go bottom.
Bottom to our speculative top. Maybe we can
We're starting with A though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll open up with. I'm going to say Wales is going to finish bottom of this group. Do you agree with me, or do you want to start somewhere else?
No, it's probably
Wales.
Probably Wales. It's probably going to be Wales.
Okay, I'm curious to see who your third is.
It's
tell me now.
Who my third?
No. Who are you debating that Wales would
Turkey? Oh no. I was saying who's the true second seed between Turkey and Switzerland. I think they're dead even.
I think Turkey is a chance of winning this group. I think Turkey's a chance to win this group.
If I were to pick a winner besides
Joe Shero, Messi is Aguero's kid's godfather, and Maradona is his grandfather, so no pressure.
Yeah, so Messi is the godfather to Aguero's kids. Yeah, that's what I thought. But I think if there's a group winner out of this that's not Italy, I'd pick Switzerland, just because they're consistent. Turkey, they're either really good or really bad. There's no in between.
And I know. And that's going to be a talking point for Turkey. Let's open with Wales. Now, no Giggs. He has been removed from the squad because he's got this sexual harassment lawsuit that's going to go on until like the end of the year, basically. So wise on their part. Now, Wales had a great run last Euros. They made the semis. That was 5 years ago. I don't think they've built on this squad at all since then. And you have now those same stars, 5 years older, Aaron Ramsey and Gareth Bale. Everyone else, to me, outside of those
Joe Allen.
And Joe Allen. Everyone else, to me, it's a championship squad with a couple aging stars. That's how I see Wales.
Is Robinson Canu still?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure he is. Yes, and by sure, yes, he is. Then you have David Brooks. A couple years ago making waves in the Prem. Bournemouth dropped down. he's complete faith.
They have Harry Wilson. He's not
They
bad.
have Daniel James. They have Harry Wilson. I think Liverpool's completely gotten rid of Harry Wilson. There's a lot of loans with him, and I think they've actually officially.
I don't mind. You don't
championship fodder. Daniel James, championship fodder. You know, it's a slow defense. You know, Rodon at Spurs still. I think he played like 8 matches this season during the Prem.
I don't see them coming in the group.
No, and this is a team like we've been talking about. You know, like what kind of picks do we like for the long run? On if you like to like make a little wager, slight outside shot at 12-1 Wales to score the least amount of goals in the tournament in a group featuring Switzerland and Italy, who are defensive stalwarts, and Turkey, who is also not necessarily known for that, but with this current squad, is a focus.
They gave France a tough time in the
They did. Well, they took 4 points from them.
Yeah.
And defensively, Turkey have been very good. So I think Wales, you could make could be a nice little payday if you want to take a little bit of a gamble on that. Hungary being the favorite for least goals at 6-1.
Just because in the group,
they're in the group. Yeah, that's a team that scores. Any other thoughts on Wales? I don't see much.
I didn't have much plan to talk about them. They were.
Dan James, Nico Williams,
they could
Harry
surprise.
Wilson, David Brooks.
They have Gareth Bale, right? I know he's not the world-class player he used to be, but
getting the ball there.
He could have moments of brilliance just because it's Gareth Bale. Even this year, he was up and down, but had some games, some multi-goal games. He scored a hat-trick in the last few weeks, too. He could just do individual brilliance. He could have 2 free kicks in a game, win 2-1 that way. Cheap penalty. It's possible, but very unlikely. Ramsey is the only other guy. Didn't play for Juventus. And whenever he did play on the field, I said, get the hell off, or I turned off the TV. Didn't watch. Joe Allen, he is the Welsh Pirlo, as they say. He's past it, let's be real. Dan James, though I love him.
Hey, you know what? Where Dan James
they have no
very effective. See, Dan James could be very effective in this because Wales will be absorbing a lot of pressure.
You know what they did?
They are a weaker squad.
They played the first half. I saw the highlights of France. They didn't look as bad as I thought they would be. But second half, they could just see they tailed off. Didn't have the quality to match up with France. Obviously, only probably 3 teams do. But I don't see. I see them scoring maybe 1 or 2. So that bet
let's try not to get too hung up on that.
I think two losses and a tie is probably the best they'll do in this group.
Yeah.
And that won't be enough to get one of the third place spots. But I have them as a almost lock for bottom of the group. I'll be shocked if they're not the bottom of the group.
You
have anything else to say?
No.
It was Turkey, Switzerland.
I'd like to move on to Switzerland just because we can maybe have a debate about who's going to finish further or higher up in this group. But I think Turkey's has a bit more intrigue to them. Switzerland,
Turkey has more upside.
They do, and they also could potentially have more downside because they do fall flat. And as you said, Switzerland, they are so consistent. In these tournaments, they don't make it too far. I think it's been the round of 16 for the last 2 major tournaments, which has been, I believe so.
Yeah, they lost to Poland in the shootout, right?
What, in the Euros?
Yeah, because that was when Shaqiri did the bicycle kick in like the 80th minute. That was nice. But they did lose to Poland shootout. But they came first. Didn't they come first in the group for them to be able to face Poland? It was something weird like that. So they do have these. They tied Brazil in the last World Cup.
They beat Serbia. That was tough.
Serbia, yeah.
But
they always you get what they expect out of them.
They're very defensive. They're setting up 3-4-1-2, I believe. And even when they play, and even when they the ball is on the foot of their opponents, they'll be dropping into a 3-5-2 as well. So they are or 5-3-2 actually. Sorry, 5-3-2. And they're really quite defensive, really well organized. That's just what they're going to be doing in these matches. Is just when they're underdogs, I would say against Italy, maybe against Turkey, it's just keeping their shape and looking to hit teams on the breaking play up in the midfield. I think where it comes down to for them, their strongest suit is right in the heart of the midfield. Lots of they're not necessarily going to have a recognized specialist CDM, but they're going to be two hardworking pivot box-to-box midfielders in Granit Xhaka, and then you're going to have either this is where the depth is. It's going to be Freuler from Atalanta,
yeah.
and or Dennis Zakaria at Borussia Mönchengladbach beside Xhaka.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, you could ask a lot of people. Now, Pekovic, their manager, won't do this, but you can ask a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of Swiss fans want to complain about those two starting over Xhaka. I think that's just it's not going to happen. But I'm just saying that's where the depth lies in this team. And
is Xhaka the captain for them now?
I would imagine
because Lichtsteiner's gone. Right?
Oh no, I think no, Kjar's Danish, so Kjar's the captain of Denmark. I think you're right. I'm going to say
it used to be Lichtsteiner, but he's retired.
Yeah,
now,
the Swiss Express, Juve legend. But yeah, so that's to me where the depth lies, and just based on the style of football they play, it is key, and it shows. Just break up play in the midfield, and all those players. You're not looking at maestros by any stretch, but a decent ability to get the ball forward into Shaqiri and Breland Bolo as well. There's some threat going forward for this team as well.
Yeah.
I would hate to be the team who wins their group and then draws them because they came third.
So you have it set. Switzerland's coming third.
In my mind.
To me, I looked at the fixtures, and because Turkey starts off against Italy, and Switzerland starts off against Wales, I think that does a lot. I think Switzerland wins. Mm-hmm. It's either going to be a tie or Italy win. I have Italy winning against Turkey, and being up, having 3 points, and knowing that Turkey had 0 against Italy, and facing Switzerland faces Italy second. I think they could just play for a tie, knowing that they'll have 4 points, and then as long as they don't lose to Turkey in the third match, they have second place at least locked up, and I think that's how it plays out.
See, I think Turkey can get. So you say Italy win or draw, which I think a lot of people will. Let's get into Turkey then. So they're bringing back Sinan Güneş, who's their manager that took them to the semis back in 2002, pardon me, at the World Cup. And they brought him back recently, and fortunes have turned.
Was he their manager for Euro 2008?
I'm not sure if he was there until then. Mm-hmm. If only Rampton's gonna be watching later. He's not watching live right now. He's not able to watch it, but Joey's had some good points, or he's helped us out with the Messi Aguero thing, so maybe he's got us there too. Okay, but it's a Rocket League, man. I'm telling you. This team's deep.
They are very deep,
and defensively. So this is the thing. It's like we're talking about them always kind of not quite delivering in a lot of tournaments. Either they make a decent run or they just fall flat on their face. Don't even necessarily qualify.
But when they do qualify, they usually do well.
Mm-hmm. now they've got Kanayan at center back and Mert Mulder at right back. Both stalwarts in this solid defense this year. With Demiral being injured and not necessarily getting too much game time, do you see maybe Ayan coming in to start with Demiral? Besides
maybe the first match, but I see Demiral being a center, like the starting.
I think that's where that's where he'll go, because I feel as though if you're going to play Ayan, then you also play Mulder, and then you don't play Selik from Lille. All right, fuck it.
It's all good. Keep going.
I don't even know. It's
what? This is your pick. This is your pick.
Oh, yeah. No, not Turkey. It's like go to the backyard for now. Like, play fucking Rocket League.
This is the first time. Don't worry. Yeah. It's growing pains. Yeah, you can bear with us.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
But attacking wise, this team has lots of options and a lot of in-form options. The main question is if they can play well defensively, they will go far.
Yeah.
Far. I don't see them going past the semis, but if they made the quarters, it wouldn't shock me.
I think this group, for me, Turkey and Italy have the two dark horses of the tournament. These are two teams where making semifinals would be an achievement for both, more so Turkey. But I think you would say it's an achievement for both with the rest of the field available.
I would say more so Switzerland, man.
You think Switzerland can make a run into the semis?
No,
I actually do.
No, I think it would be more of a success for Switzerland because I don't think they've got.
Well, I would say
because Turkey's got to a semifinal for World Cup and Euros before.
Yes, but where I don't see Switzerland as a dark horse because I don't see them making the semis. I actually could see Italy or Turkey making a run into like the semis, knocking out
Spain,
a tournament favorite, in the quarters,
an
or something like that.
Yeah.
Now during qualifying, Turkey. Now we're talking about the defense, and to me, it's like from what I'm seeing, they conceded 3 times in qualifying, 8 clean sheets.
Yeah,
that's absurd. I think I'm going to say.
I don't think it'll be as good as it was in qualifying, though.
Sure,
that's
there's
the
more pressure.
issue.
There's more pressure, and you're playing
issue.
better quality. I understand that, but it speaks to the defense. And you had France twice as well.
Yeah,
you took 4 points from France.
I think their defense was too good then. You know what I mean? Because it won't live up to the. I'm being honest. It won't. Like if you're expecting that because of what happened in qualifying, I'm telling you right now, it's not going to be that good. The stage is different. Qualifying is different. Now that you're at the Euros, it's. I know we had to wait an extra year for it, but it's not. It's not. If it was last year, I would say it would be more likely to be in form. But now having a year removed, it's not going to be like that. There's too much. That's why I have Switzerland slightly ahead. Mm-hmm. I think Switzerland will get 5 points. I think Turkey will get 4. That's the difference.
Okay, let's get on Italy.
Italy will get 7.
Joe, it's the ghost of John Belushi. That's who we're hanging out with. Loud, rambunctious, and fucking obnoxious. But he brings his beer, so I'll give him that. I guess that gives you carte blanche to do the fuck you want. Okay, let's close out with Italy. Roberto Mancini's been there since 2018, and they've only lost twice in room in all competitions. This includes UEFA Nations League. You can say what you will about that competition, but but teams they play their strongest teams for the most part.
They do.
So I think he's on like a 23 match unbeaten run, something like that.
For me, this is like they're going to win this group. They didn't make the World Cup. They have to bounce back. They usually always take one big tournament off and then play well the next tournament. So they didn't even make World Cup. I'm expecting either at least the quarters, maybe even a semis. They might even be. So
if they played well every other tournament and they didn't make last tournament, does that mean
No, because they didn't play
this tournament.
Because there was a first World Cup they didn't make, right?
A couple points that
they're on the dying legs.
I don't mind.
So that's
big thing for Italy is that everyone else in this group has 1 match in Italy and 2 matches in Azerbaijan. Italy, all their matches are in Rome, which is a huge boost. This tournament is I really don't like the layout of this tournament whatsoever.
No one does.
They had a perfect chance.
Except for England.
Yeah, they had a perfect chance to change this. Last because of the pandemic and just make it in England, and that's what they should have done. But instead, they've continued to do all these countries everywhere, and certain countries getting a major leg up. Not only do you certain like the Dutch have it as well. Not only certain countries get 3 matches at home.
Germany does that in the group of death. They get all 3 games at home.
There you go, and they don't have to travel either.
Yeah.
So that really makes me reconsider certain things, and this is why it's a real toss up for me in this group. But you know what? You're talking about Mancini. You're talking about Italy needing to do well, but Mancini in tournament play. You harp on Conte. Not getting it done in tournament style play.
No,
Mancini.
He did. He had a great Italy team last Euros. They just lost to Germany in that dramatic game. But I say Conte, he can only focus on one tournament at a time.
Okay.
If he has a club team, he either wins the league and drops out early in cups, or wins the cup and doesn't even compete for the league. It's either one or the other. So that's why when he took Italy last year, I thought it was perfect because it's only one tournament. He focused on it. Yeah. They beat Spain. They won the group. They did have some late goals, but they should have beat Germany. That was the time Italy should have beat Germany, and they just couldn't. Did everything in their book too. But Mancini, I think, will do a great job with the team. I see him coming 2 wins and a tie out of the group stage, and then depending on how the draw goes,
Yeah.
I would probably bet on them depending on.
Well, we should
which
check that
matchup.
actually. But Mancini does not have his Champions League record is porous, and this is the same kind of setup.
Yes.
So 7 attempts in the Champions League. He's made the quarterfinals twice. He got knocked in the group stage twice with Man City.
Yes.
I know this is earlier Man City, somewhat. 2013, 2014. You know, they were getting there. They already won.
Who was the manager when they went to the semis?
Was it Pellegrini?
Really?
It wasn't Mancini.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Let's quickly check, Mike, to see just for your Italy supposition here. Now, Group 1A will play 2C, second from C. So that will be the Dutch, Austria, or Ukraine. Not North Macedonia.
Right.
Not completely.
You actually.
That's not a bad draw, though. If Italy do win this group, that group C, to me, is quite weak.
So if Italy wins the group, they face the third place team with this.
Second from C.
Oh, so second. Okay,
Second
yeah,
from
that's
C.
not bad.
Yeah, no, it's not. I just want to see if there's any other points that I had. No, Moise Kean picked up a little bit of a knock, and I don't know if he was going to make it anyway. I would have brought him personally. I have to say.
Do you have your worries?
I think
defense, right? Defense is the worry for me because they're old. Chiellini is the question mark.
Well, I don't think Chiellini starts. For me,
Ooh, I think he starts.
For me, no. For me, I think you got to go. He's playing a 4-3-3, by the way. I love their midfield. I absolutely love their midfield. Verratti, if he's healthy, which it looks like he should be.
Looks like he will be. Yeah.
Barella, and then do you go Locatelli or Jorginho?
I would go Locatelli.
I agree, and I wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't flip out if he started Jorginho. I wouldn't. But it's a really nice midfield, and they stay healthy. Verratti gets back. It's dangerous. That's
because if you have Verratti,
game.
there's no. But you know what? They actually will start Turkey. I'm thinking about it.
I don't mind it, but Locatelli has been so good. But that midfield's great. There's a lot. It's kind of top heavy when you look at it. There's a lot of wingers and strikers on that squad. Now let's quickly talk about the defense because for me, I think it's got to go. Probably Di Lorenzo from Napoli. Could be Florenzi.
I would say Florenzi.
Probably Florenzi at PSG.
Yeah.
Bastoni for me is the one who should start.
Oh, so Bastoni and Bonucci? Because Bonucci.
It's Bonucci or Serbi. If it's
Bonucci's, I'm telling you right now, Bonucci's starting. Unless if he's not starting, it's all because of injury, but he is starting.
Okay.
And Chiellini might start next to him.
No, that's a mistake.
I'm telling you.
That's where you make your mistake.
Opening weekend, if Chiellini is starting, do not be surprised, okay?
I will be surprised, actually. I will.
Do not be surprised.
I think with Mancini, Italy in the last number of years has always has that kind of very veteran kind of presence about them. Almost any tournament you see them at, it's a very veteran presence. Even when these guys are like 25, they feel like they're like 40. But this under Mancini, they do look. There's a push for youth, and I think Chiellini.
So you're doing a Serbia and Bastoni as your two center backs.
That's fair take. I think Serbia had a great year at Lazio.
That's too many new faces.
I think Serbia had a great year at Lazio. And you know what? Hasn't really been panning out for Italy recently anyway. So and then Emerson. That's where they're weakest at left back. Emerson somehow will be starting left back.
Not Spinazzola?
I don't think Spinazzola made it. No, he did. Yeah, he
Spinazzola. It'll be Spinazzola.
Let's see.
You know what?
He likes Emerson. He played Emerson like last week.
If it was Conte, Emerson, 100%, but not Mancini. So who's up top for them? Is it you have Chiesa?
Chiesa, absolutely on either side. So for me, it's Immobile and Chiesa.
Yes,
but then based on who you choose, would you take Berardi or Insigne, and then you put Chiesa on the opposite side? So if you take Insigne, you put Chiesa on the right, and vice versa with Berardi. Personally, I take Berardi. I think
Insigne starts.
I think he would start Insigne as well. I've always found Insigne to be a little bit wasteful. Creative and clever on the ball, but a little wasteful. Berardi I find a little more clinical and still very good in terms of facilitating.
I'll tell you another thing, what to expect. Don't be shocked, second or third sub is consistently Bernardeschi.
You know what?
He does love Bernardeschi.
I was thinking about this last night, especially because I knew I was going to be talking to you and how you feel about Bernardeschi as a UA fan. But
he loves him. He loves him on Italy. He loves him.
I can see this tournament being a bit of a renaissance for Bernardeschi.
He died
at least for the tournament.
Like,
at least for the tournament.
He does say because he loves playing for Allegri because he gives him the freedom to like make mistakes in certain areas, which he likes. right? Allegri's all calculated, but that's he's just talking about playing with the Allegri and not Italy. But I can maybe see when he plays for Italy, he doesn't have to worry about the disappointment. He is at Juve. He can have a fresh canvas and plays well. And I'm pretty sure in their friendly, he was the captain, Bernardeschi. Or he had the armband on at one point.
Sure. I actually.
I don't mind it. I think he might be second or third sub often, and he might be introduced in every. He won't start, but I think if they put him on as an attacking option, if they need a goal, don't be surprised. But I think it will probably be Cini, Immobile, and Chiesa.
Yeah,
and that's probably the starting
I think that's what it is too.
Most people
I do have a soft
with.
spot for Brody, but I think Bernardeschi has the group stage really to kind of prove himself a little bit. Let's move on, Mike, to Group B.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Italy topping it. I'm on the fence. I am on the fence. I think Turkey could pull some out of the bag here. Again, this home field shit is such a bonus. Group B, Finland. What are we going to say about Finland? Really, they did very well to get here. They had a very quite convincing qualification process.
So you're conceding the worst team in this.
That's what I'm saying. Yes,
okay.
That's what I'm looking at. I think second in the group 2, Italy, if I'm not mistaken, and somewhat late on had a chance to
was Italy and Greece. It was no.
Italy ran away.
Italy ran. They won all 10 games.
But Finland was quite comfortable though. Still, it was for Finland.
For Finland, yes, because they had it secured by the last game.
Yeah,
they were 4 points up. That's why.
Yeah. And
the Greeks are on my soccer team, so I knew they were always I can't believe we lost to Finland.
Is there much to say about them?
It's Timo Pukki.
Well done, Timo.
Defense. It's defense and Pukki. So if they can get a clean sheet, Pukki might score. He was balling for them.
Yep.
But as a team, they did well defensively, and they had to.
I think they have 3 MLS stars on the team. I think they're the Euro squad with the most MLS players on it.
Really?
Yeah. And then I think Hungary has 2, and Poland has 1. Just a little fun stat for you. Okay, Mike, I'm gonna let you decide. I think we agree that Belgium's going first in this group.
Yes.
Who's coming third, and we'll go from there.
I think
Denmark or Russia.
I think Russia comes second.
Okay, so let's go with Denmark.
Don't they have home games?
Denmark plays all the matches at home. Russia. Did I get that wrong? I might have got that wrong. No, Denmark plays all their matches at home.
The Russia doesn't have any then?
No, Russia does. Russia might have 2 still.
Right?
I
thought they hosted. I hate these Euros. Why did they do it like this?
Yeah, Belgium has 1 matches at home. Belgium has 2 matches in Russia, 1 in Denmark. I think Russia has 2 at home. The other one being Denmark and Finland. Well,
I didn't know Denmark had so many games. It's in Copenhagen then, right?
Yes, they're all in Copenhagen.
Okay,
again,
that's all it could be.
Flip a coin and between Switzerland and Denmark, and heads is Switzerland, heads is Denmark, and you have to squint to see which team's different to me. They're very similar.
What? No,
they're very similar to me.
Switzerland's better than Denmark.
I'm talking about in the way they play. I'm talking the way they play, and honestly, in what they have to offer. I agree. I do agree that Switzerland is better than Denmark.
Okay.
But I think again,
similar play styles.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And then
Denmark doesn't have Denmark anymore.
Yes,
retired today.
What a day! We should have opened with that. Actually, we should have opened with that. Lord Bendner has retired today. He will be missed.
Very
well. You know what? We'll still hear better. He's gonna do something where it's you won't.
It would shock you.
Yeah. You're gonna hear.
Come out of retirement. So I'm coming back.
TFC. Sign him up.
I'd take him at TFC.
Yeah,
100%.
I'll get season tickets.
Yeah.
And then I'll just go hang out at the nightclub waiting for him afterwards. I don't even like the club. I just want to see what this guy gets up to. Anyway, yeah, Denmark. Again, defensively sound. The thing is, when we're talking about Switzerland, I can see transition play and a little more talent, as you said. Switzerland are more talented, but Denmark do seem a little starved up top. Like when we're talking about industrious in terms of Switzerland, you look at Denmark and it's Højbjerg, it's Højbjerg and Delaney, right? And then like an aging.
That's not forward though. That's not attacking.
But to get the ball forward, that's what I'm talking about. Like it's a little dire, even to get into an aging and inconsistent.
Is Poulsen their best forward?
That's the thing. You can take your pick out of 4 mediocre forwards with that. It's Poulsen, Braithwaite, Dolberg,
yeah.
I would say Dolberg for me, and then Wind, Jonas Wind at Copenhagen. You know,
I don't know who that is. I'm gonna be honest.
he is arguably just as good as the rest. It doesn't matter who's up there. It's just like who's gonna break up? Who's a set piece specialist?
Eriksson.
No. In terms of like who's gonna be getting up in the breakaway? Poulsen can get up.
Oh, you mean for indirect?
Who's gonna get a head on it? That's what
they've always had good,
and that's
Denmark's always had good teams. So like
they won the Euros. Yeah,
92, right?
Yeah. They're not bad. They're not bad. This is a tough one for me too because you know what? We're talking about Turkey.
I'm going Russia because of momentum base. Right?
Russia's inconsistent. Russia's a tournament team like Turkey where it's like you don't know what you're gonna get.
Did we determine
Denmark's not bad to get out of a group?
Were Russia and Belgium in the same qualifier? Because they played each other off. Who did Russia play off?
Russia and Belgium were, yeah.
So were they in the same qualifier and then they're the same group?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's weird. Has that happened before?
I don't know.
Because I'm like, I swear I've seen this game so many times, Russia, Belgium. And Russia, I think they lost both times, but they were in it. It's like they had chances to win. So like, I know they have quality to that extent, and I wouldn't say they're all juiced up, but maybe they were in the World Cup. That's why they made the quarters. But
they're at home. Yeah.
They do have home games, and they have a decent squad. I know like Cheryshev isn't in form as he was in the World Cup, and Russia should beat Denmark.
Outside of Alexander Golovin, who had, when he was healthy, a very good year.
And they got injured,
yeah. But he came back and finished strongly as well.
He scored in his first
But you showed me that. It was a great finish. But to me, Russia's like, your ultimate team. When you're online, like when we're playing FIFA and you get you're building like your ultimate team, it's like you have
the Russian league players. I will admit that, but not Russia. But not Russia.
That's what Russia.
No,
like everyone apart from Golovin,
you get like Hulk and like that's in the Russian league.
Oh yeah,
Russia,
no, okay, but when you're looking at like the rest of the squads in this, and you're talking about the team chemistry, everyone on this team except for Golovin is playing the Russian league.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So they know they're going to play a similar style, and it's like, can you keep up?
Yeah.
I think they're good. I think they're coming second. I think Denmark's the third place team here. Is that what you had? Because that's what I had.
I think I'm gonna go with Denmark. I think it's gonna be. I think
get it done.
I think it might come down to like goal differential. I think they could draw each other.
Because the Denmark came second in the group with France in the World Cup, right? Because they tied France last game, and then they beat. No, I'm
not gonna go too much off of that. I just think that Denmark is like Switzerland, very very well organized, and Russia. They don't have the talent like a Turkey does, and they don't necessarily have the consistency and organization that I could see, getting them like showing us. I think this could come down to goal differential. I could see Denmark and Russia tying each other, but I could see Belgium taking more goals off of
Russia. Yeah, because they've played them so often. They know how they play. Right? Yeah. It's like.
So that's where, for me, that's how tight it is. But I think Denmark are going to get the swing.
It's tight, eh? It's tight for you? What do the betting odds say? The betting odds don't say they're
We can check out that after. What do you think about Belgium, Mike? Let's get on. Now, let's move on to Belgium. 2 matches in Russia,
Denmark's
one in Denmark. That doesn't surprise me. And, Mike, what do you think about Belgium? Obviously, they're up there for favorites.
They're good. Yeah, they are a favorite, but I don't see them going past the semifinals.
Neither do I.
So it's just like, what's the point? Like what's the point? Like, if they get to the semifinals,
then it's like, well, we can win this. But
they could. But I think you would look at the other 3 teams, and you could probably pick 2 other teams that you would think would win over them. So like, even if they get to the semis, they're only going to be the 3rd favorite, depending on the other teams. Like, they would have to have a semi like no France, no Portugal. No England. And then maybe I would take them second.
I can see them beat England.
Right? Like maybe like Italy, Belgium, I take Italy over Belgium. Like I think I think they're good. I think they're gonna win the group and make the semis.
Yeah.
But if they make the semis, that means they take out an important team in the quarters.
They are this kind of still like they are
I think they missed the window. I think they missed the window.
That it's for me, where the problem lies is the defense. It's aging and it's And where it's not aging, it's Jason Denaire, who's to me middle of the road, not that great, decent, but not who you want at the center of a defense.
They missed it. I think if they
that World Cup,
I think
against France, Alderweireld and Vertonghen.
It was the Euros and the World Cup. Like the World Cup 2014, it was good for them. They made it. Like they lost Argentina and Argentina went to play. And Euro 2012, they weren't really Belgium yet. Right? They weren't really Belgium yet. Right. So I think the Euros, when they shocked defeat Wales, that was the year, right? And then I think because they lost that game, they didn't beat France. They didn't just know how to win. Yeah, because that game was up for grabs for Belgium. They like France didn't dominate them, but I just don't think they have it. That's what it is. I really don't think they have it.
I think they need to reset defensively by the next tournament. I think they need to have. I don't see anyone really coming up in terms of young defenders in that squad. No. In Belgium, that would be ready for the 2022 World Cup if we're going to get ahead of ourselves a little bit.
But everyone will be older at that time.
Yeah, and you know what? Old within that midfield.
This is still a good This is if they don't win it this year, they're definitely not winning it. It's over. This generation won't win one.
I don't think these guys, the likes of Alderweireld and Vertonghen, have an amazing swan song. This needs to be an amazing send off for both of them, where they just come back together and.
They play 3-4-3.
Do their little what's that? And you don't watch Star Trek. I kind of do. Spock's the fuck is he? Whatever. Doesn't matter.
You know. Starting.
And we'll get into that. Okay, Mike's just looking at my potential starting lineup right now. Those two with Denaire need to have a phenomenal turn, but it also is going to come down to being well protected by the midfield because they can't be with that back line. They can't be affording to give up. They can't afford to be giving up that many chances.
So they miss an angle line?
No. I think that midfield's great. I think their attack is great, but also the way they play provides attack. It's for the attack.
You don't have Witzel starting?
And Witzel's hurt. He tore his Achilles back in January. He might be healthy. So that's another point.
Oh, so yeah, they're definitely not going to win that. Do they need them?
So lineup starting 11 that I potentially have is Thibaut Courtois, Alderweireld, Denaire, Vertonghen in the back three, with Castagna and Thorgan Hazard on the wings, Tielemans and Dendoncker in the middle, with KDB, Lukaku, and either Mertens or Hazard.
I don't think you put both Hazards on the same side, especially, or you don't start both Hazards. It's only one or the other.
I don't mind. I don't think Eden Hazard should start.
He's the captain, so he's gonna start. I'll tell you that. Newsflash. He's starting.
KDB should be the captain. That's
what. It should be, yes, but Hazard's the captain, so he's starting for sure.
But Mike, you know what? I agree with you. You know, they went 10 for 10 in qualifying. It's qualifying. They scored.
We don't
40
pay attention
times.
to them.
They scored 40 times and they conceded 3 times. It's sensational. But you know, when it comes down to it, I don't think.
Weren't they ranked number 1 in FIFA for like a year and a half?
Sure.
And they were never a favorite of the tournament. So what does that tell you?
That's a FIFA rank.
But that tells you something.
Well, yeah, it tells you
that the number 1 ranked isn't the favorite of a tournament. That means that no one believes them. Yeah. Sorry,
No.
I'm just being honest.
Switzerland got to like number 5 at some point too.
Yeah, I think they were like 3 or 4. I think Switzerland was 3 or 4.
Just winning friendlies. 2 things I will say, or 2 players I do want to mention are Rennes Holmes, Jeremy Doku, and Leandro Trossard at Brighton, who could be some decent little wild cards off the bench if they're need to chase a game at any point.
Those players only come in if they're up to nothing.
No, I don't think so, because you know what? When I'm looking at the likes of Trossard can play center attacking. If you need to overload, you can take off a Dendoncker. If you're chasing a game, if someone off the left like Mertens and Hazard are just not getting it done, you can bring on a Doku. I don't think Mertens and Hazard are necessarily clear to play 90 minutes.
If one of them is one of them for sure, or if one of them.
Oh yeah, one starts, the other one comes in.
Yeah. So it's like then Trossard never sees the time, right? So
okay, Mike, let's move on to Group C and let's wrap this up. Now we've got North Macedonia. Well done for qualifying and beating Germany.
Just Macedonia.
Pretty sure it's labeled North Macedonia.
I know. I was still just calling it Macedonia.
Yeah, well, I don't think the Greeks are going to like you for that.
The Greeks don't care. They're not Macedonian.
Yeah,
It's just there is no South Macedonia, so there's no need for North Macedonia. That's what boggles me. It's like, why is this happening? Why are we letting this happen?
Again, I think only politics is going to now, so, they beat Germany. Well done. They made the tournament. Well done. Although
First time.
I don't agree with how that went down. They should have to play like the best.
Oh, I know. Yeah, they guaranteed a bad team, and they were the bad team.
Yeah, if you beat like the good ones that are trying to qualify, so there was Serbia and Scotland. You make it to them, and then you beat them as well. Kudos, but otherwise, it doesn't count for me.
Pandev
last of the group done.
Yeah, will Pandev score?
I think Macedonia will score. They scored 2 against Germany. I think they'll score.
Does Pandev score one of them?
Yes.
I love that guy. I actually do love that guy.
Okay. Third place, Mike. Austria, Ukraine, Netherlands. Netherlands.
It's probably Austria. Let's be real.
Yeah, I agree.
It's Austria. They just have Alaba. They
have Sabitzer. There are some players on that team. What? Why are you looking at that? Sabitzer. Sabitzer's
as a second option though.
Mike, you were like blowing your load at Switzerland's talent, and you're going to just dismiss Sabitzer?
No, not Switzerland. I wasn't blowing my load at Switzerland's talent.
Come on,
no. They're the third place team. Who don't they have a striker who plays?
Well, they have Arnautovic.
Arnautovic, that's what I'm thinking of. Will he be starting for them?
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
Which is a
Ukraine had an amazing qualifier. They were in Portugal's group.
They did.
Only tied Portugal once, right? And they went 7-1.
They had
6-2. They tied twice. They tied the last game. It didn't matter.
They went 6-2.
Okay.
They had a very good qualifier, but in the last year
they tied the first game 1-6.
In last year, including a 1-0 win today against Northern Ireland, they've gone 3-4-4 in all competitions, which includes friendlies. But that also includes, 7-1 thrashing by
they had
France.
the Nations League, right?
Yeah, they were getting spanked by Germany and Spain.
But the qualifiers they focused on and they crushed it. So when they turn it on, they turn it on. Malinowski.
Malinowski, Zinchenko's there. Yarmolenko. And then, you know what? It looked like Shevchenko's been there since 2016, actually. I didn't realize how long he'd been there until I was just doing a little bit of research last night. But, I got to say, they're intriguing. It's just,
they have home games too.
They definitely,
they do. Right?
I think so.
Kiev is a destination.
All three are in the Netherlands for the Dutch anyway.
Okay.
So I'll say that. I just worry about them a little bit. I think this is another team that has a potential to win this group. I think
Ukraine.
I do, and that's because I do respect this Ukrainian squad and what they've done, especially in those qualifiers. But it's more to the fact that I don't like this Dutch squad under Frank de Boer. And I have to say, 4 years ago or something, that looked like the Dutch were in the doldrums again. And then Koeman came in, and it looked like he was turning that team around. I think they did very, very well in the UEFA Nations League. They were doing very well in their qualifiers.
Well, they came out of the group with France and Germany.
Then exactly. And then he pissed off. To Barcelona. I'm a little annoyed at him for doing so. I think he definitely should have rode it out, especially that merry-go-round that Barcelona has. He could have got that job potentially another couple of years anyway. But then they bring Frank de Boer, who was horrible at Inter, is the worst Premier League manager of all time. He went 0-4 at Crystal Palace and got spanked match in, match out. He took over at Atlanta United, or was it FC, in the MLS?
It's Atlanta United FC.
Atlanta United FC?
No.
That can be more MLS. I wouldn't put it past it.
I think
put it past them at all.
Right?
But, he took them over after they are coming off like the back of a championship season. Very mediocre performance. And then he gets this job. And in the last season, they've gone 5-4-3 in all competitions. 2 wins included against Gibraltar and Latvia. So take those away. He's gone 3-4-3, struggling to score, struggling to move the ball. They just come off a draw against actually somewhat depleted Scotland squad, 2-2, where Depay just wound up tying in the last couple of minutes. And Scotland didn't even have their full team.
No, they didn't. The Netherlands don't look good going into this tournament. I will agree on that.
No. I think that if they were in slightly more, like if they were in, if you swap out Switzerland and the Dutch in groups, the Dutch finished third, and I don't know if they come out. They might come out third place just because they get like that third place spot. That's how I feel about that team. This is how obviously Van Dijk's gone, but even with Van Dijk out, I don't like where this team's coming from.
I think
under De Boer.
If they were in a group with another favorite, I'd be more worried. But because they are the favorite in this, I still think they should win the group. I think they're gonna play like they're the favorites. They'll pick it up for the big tournament. They haven't looked like it, but I just don't see Ukraine winning the group.
I see this Dutch team being the disappointment of the tournament. Especially what kind of highlights it for me is the fact that they have all 3 matches at home. I do think they'll make it out of this group, which is a weak group, but I think they're going to kind of limp out of it. And I do think they're going to come second.
To Ukraine?
Yeah, to Ukraine. And they leave the Netherlands. The Netherlands fans just kind of despondent about like, okay, we made it through, but
we're second
done.
Now, yeah.
We're second and we're done.
We're
not making it
that work.
Let's see. They are Group C. So let's just speculate here quickly. So if they were to come second, it would be, as we said earlier, 1A. So that'd be, we're going to say Italy.
Yeah.
And I'd take Italy every day over that Dutch squad.
It's if
that were the case,
matchup,
and
I would like it.
I think there's a good chance. I think
neutral fan, that's what I'm kind of cheering for.
I think it's a good 50-50
If they come 1C, though.
3 of D or E. So third place of either Croatia, England, Czech Republic, Scotland,
or E,
and Poland, Slovakia, Spain, Sweden.
Oh,
so first place,
they could go for.
I could still see them blowing that though. I could still see them blowing that. Anyway, okay. Any other final thoughts there on? I see. One thing I want to say is that he's probably going to go with a 4-3-3.
Yeah,
like he normally has been.
Yeah.
He experimented with the 5-3-2 last match. Didn't work out.
Who
at left back for me? There's Owen Widnall of AZ Alkmaar, who's had a great season, and then there's Patrick Van Aanholt. And see, this is where I find Frank de Boer is probably going to go with Van Aanholt, which I think is a huge mistake. I think it's kind of archaic in his team selection. And it's someone who's been out of form compared to Wijnaldum, who's been sensational and is probably going to make a big move this summer as well. But that's just where I see Frank de Boer's head at. I think he's just.
I don't think it makes a difference that position who he starts.
I don't think that completely changes the complete dynamic of this team. But I think it's, to me, if he does go with Van Aanholt, it speaks to where he is. In
as
terms
a manager?
And in terms of his team selection and in terms of his tactics, which are slow and turgid and not what you want from a Netherlands squad.
Yeah, you want attacking all out.
You obviously they have been known for their defense as well. They obviously are an attacking squad historically, but they've always had good defenders, and they have good defenders. Even without Van Dijk, you still have De Ligt and De Vrij beside each other.
De Vries.
I know, it's Dutch. And yeah, there's obviously talent there, but it just worries me.
No, I could see. Yes, I wouldn't be confident, and I could see them coming second, but I have them coming first still, and probably losing in the round of 16 or quarters. But they're not a threat. They're not. Belgium's way more of a threat, but I don't see them lifting the cup in any scenario this tournament, at least. So, yeah, I guess I do, just because of the players on paper. They still are the favorites.
And this is where I think maybe you're a little archaic in your picks as well.
Maybe I should manage them. Right?
Maybe
the same with the board.
I don't know. I think we're gonna have to get a little. We're gonna have to do a little Euro pool here, Mike, and see who comes out on top. That stopped. We lost the podcast. I forgot about it. And guys, we did go a little bit longer today. I guess we're just a little
First time trial.
Yeah, a little trigger happy, and
It's weird
and just
looking
letting it
at
run on
myself,
YouTube.
you
Yeah,
know?
a little bit. So
Like,
wait,
do
we're
I
gonna
look
sort this out.
here? Do I look here?
We'll
We'll figure it out. Don't
yes,
worry.
we will. We'll be doing this in time. We'll probably put some like non-live videos together and just talk about some certain things and just build on the channel. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back at latest next Thursday with a little more transfer talk and then preview for D, E, and F.
Yep, and the Euros will start the next
day.
Yeah,
Italy, Turkey. Okay, guys.
Good to see you, and enjoy.
Take care.
They have